Oh, hey, guys. Joe and I want to say thank you for listening to the All in Our Heads podcast. And you can listen many ways. Laughable.com is a great way if you have an iPhone. What is it? iHeartRadio. You can download the app, and you can listen to that is on any device. And soon, hopefully, Laughable will have an Android device, an app for Android devices. But right now, if you have an iPhone, that's the best way to do it. iTunes, Stitcher, any podcast-o-matic, there's Podomatic. There's a million ways to listen to our podcast. So thank you for doing that. Share it with your friends. What's on this episode, Joe?
Let's see. This episode, we talked about the different grandma porn a little bit, or different ways to call grandma. Yeah. We talked about some weekend gigs, and then we basically talked about our weekend gigs.
Yeah, I think that was it. We kind of ran out of time there. We were talking about grandma porn, crumb cake, and weekend gigs.
There you go. It's a great episode, people.
Riveting.
Take care.
You're listening to All in Our Heads with Joe Fernandez and Mike Gaffney. Please enjoy the show.
Yo.
Can you see me? Because I don't see me.
I think you have your thing over your thing
I'm
again.
retarded, man.
Got a thing over the thing again.
All right. I'm here now.
He's there now. Got the
What's
Mike
up, man?
Gaffney's winter skull cap on.
Yeah.
I can almost probably guess when you have that hat on just by looking outside. Be like, it's cloudy. Mike's got that hat on.
It's kind of how I run it, too. I look out my window like, put the hat on.
Yeah.
It was nice. It's actually not cold out today.
No, it's actually pretty nice, and we're getting a motherfucking like nor'easter on Thursday.
I know.
6 to
Of course.
12 inches in North Jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Starting at like 3 in the morning Wednesday night into Thursday.
I'm leaving Thursday afternoon. My flight leaves at 12:30. I swear to motherfucking God. I swear to motherfucking God. I swear to fucking Christ. I'll fucking snap if my fucking flight gets canceled because I have to get. I cannot afford to lose the gig.
I know you're in a really bad mood at the thought of that, but I started this podcast in a very bad mood, and you just saying that just made me so happy. Not that it may happen to you, but the way you fucking ranted about it totally snapped me out of a bad mood. So thank you for that. Carry on with your miserable self.
I'm not miserable.
No, I mean with your future
it.
Miserable. Yeah, hey man.
Why do you have to come on, fucking Al Roker, and ruin my fucking focus for the week?
I forgot you were going to Indianapolis. I thought maybe you were going to where your dreams go to die. Maybe it would have been a good thing.
No. If it was Friday, if I was leaving Friday, I mean, if the snow's coming in Wednesday, Thursday, the airports will be fine by Friday. But I'm leaving Thursday, 12:30 in the afternoon.
You have a show Thursday night?
What? I have a show Thursday night, yeah.
Oh, all right. I don't know.
So,
well, these storms can go off. It's only Tuesday.
Thanks.
They could change or get worse. Could be either nothing or storm of the century.
Motherfucker, man. God damn it. All right. Well, I'm not going to look at the weather report. Let's continue.
Yeah, don't look at it.
I was in a fantastic fucking mood 3 fucking minutes ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm glad you transferred that to me.
Yeah, wow. What are you going to do?
You were in a bad mood or just like a cranky mood?
Cranky. Fucking cranky. I'm like, fuck it. I'm buying fucking peanut butter cookies. I don't give a fuck. That's what I just did.
Ooh. You're like a gang member.
No, but I'm saying I've been trying to eat good, and it was either me or my diet. Something was dying today, so I chose diet. I'm not, Fuck that. It's just the fucking winter blues, man. Fucking clouds and shit. Fucking and then I couple it with a couple of panic attacks during the day for no reason, and then you know.
We are. That's peanut butter cookie time.
I wanted to get crumb cake, but they were all out. Usually when it rains, I get crumb cake.
The deli was out. The deli.
Right, so I got peanut butter cookies, which are kind of nice.
They're not. But I get when you're
They're
in the
not crumb cake, but...
Because that's soothing.
Oh, crumb cake with the crumbs and...
Like, where they got the name from?
Yeah, but like, it's like, you know how like crumb cake is usually like cake and then crumb? Like,
yeah, well, I get it. They say it in the name.
Yeah, and no, but the crumb is so much thicker than the cake. Like this baker was like.
That's why they lead with crumb.
Yeah, but sometimes you see where it's like mostly cake, little crumb, like Entenmann's or some other one.
No, they're fake.
This pastry chef was like, I'm just putting cake here just for aesthetics, like.
I'm just putting cake because I'm having the balls to call this crumb cake. If I don't have it, it's just going to be called crumb.
Yeah, which I would buy if you say, here's a bag of crumb.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I love bags of crumb. I say we take away the cake. It's just a waste of calories anyway.
There's a market in town, and they have I don't know where they get their crumb cake from, but they have crumb cake with, I would say the crumb portion is probably 1.5 inches thick, and the cake portion is about 1/2 inch.
Mm-hmm.
And the crumb is like, when you bite into it, it's like kind of gooey. It's not like, it's
not hard and crunchy. It's like buttery and shit.
Yeah, it got a little buttery, like, and it smushes.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Yeah, after we doing this podcast, I might have to go up to the deli and get one. I'm into the market and grab one.
No, if it's snowing Thursday, I'm fucking getting crumb cake in the morning before they sell out. I'm holding it for the afternoon. So if I'm going to be snowed in, I'm eating that shit.
Well, if it snows Thursday, I'm going to be committing suicide in the middle of Route 4. Because I cannot lose the gig, the flight. That's too much. It's too much. It's too much. I will be buried.
Well, maybe not. Maybe it'll fly out.
I'm saying, I know. I'm fine. If I get off the ground and get the fuck out of this town, I'll be fine. Yeah. But if I'm stuck and I miss my gig, I cannot financially. I will be beyond buried. Beyond.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
And I know people saying, why do you live week to week like that, Mike? And I say, I don't know. But that's how it's been for a while, and it's how it's going to continue to be.
Yeah, well, most people are week to week. Most people in the world are week to week.
Yeah, well, most people's jobs aren't
dependent
100% affected by a fucking snowstorm.
Right. Like if I took a snow day Thursday, I'm still getting paid.
Right.
I just lose a vacation day.
Like Thursday. I mean, like hopefully, because I know I've been hearing reports. I haven't heard nor'easter or bad storm.
I heard 10 p.m. to 6 p.m. the next day, 6 to 12 inches, North Jersey.
I heard none of that on the radio today. That tomorrow was supposed to be like reaching 60s, then going down, dropping by the evening, rain, and then turning into snow. But it never said. They never said big storm watch. Not like that. Not saying that's not true, and don't read it if you can find it. I don't want to hear about it.
All right.
I don't even look at it. I don't want to see your miserable. I don't want to see your face change. Just eat your goddamn peanut butter cookie and search porn.
I don't search porn. I
know you don't. But that's what I'm telling. What?
Think I am the devil? Tribute to that sort of.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you don't search porn. You're right.
No. Only grandma porn, but that's only grandma porn. That's it. That's it.
That's not really porn.
No, it's grandma. It's like grandma being nice and shit.
Yeah. Making sauce.
What a weird category to even invent. The grandma.
Grandma?
Like who was itching for that? Where you needed a category. It should be one thumbnail of some weird ass video that was dug up from like 1960. Like the one time grandma did that. That should be the only porn of that.
Yeah.
It should never have sparked an industry.
No, it shouldn't have. But what happens is, I guarantee the industry adjusts to search engines. So you got people, like if there's guys just in front. I'm not saying anything you are into doesn't make you a freak, but some guys may just jerk off so much to porn, they just run out of shit to get turned on by. They're like, I've done all of this, and then you just start getting guys going. You got anything with a grandma in it? Nana porn? What do we got going on? And the
like
people in charge,
like a young Nana, like she had babies when she was young, and then her baby had baby young, and then she's young Nana.
But then there's guys at the porn search engine that have to keep going. Yo, we got another fucking Nana search. Like another one? How many is that today? We got 16 grandma searches today. Looks like we're going to have to start putting some grandma footage together. Then they start reaching out to people who look old retired porn stars.
Old retired porn stars, yeah.
Did you fuck again? Come on for a grand. All right, I'll fuck again. Don't let my grandkids see this. And then
I've never watched it, but I definitely hope they don't use all the grandma terms like Meemaw. Like, come here, Meemaw. Like, that sounds worse than grandma. Or, like, like everyone's got weird names for the grandma. There's, like, a million different
terms. I can't
terms.
watch old people porn. I don't watch that.
Were you watching Meemaw porn?
No. I barely can make it through if there's an old guy and young girls porn. Never mind an old lady getting fucked.
Let's see. Here's other names for grandma. Mama porn. Meemaw.
Nana. Nanny.
Gima and Geepa.
Got
any Geepa porn?
Do you hear Sebastian's joke about calling your grandfather? He's like, call my grandfather. You got to call him Meemaw. Like Meemaw is like, he fought in World War II. Give the guy some respect. Like, what's Peepaw doing? Peepaw.
Yeah. There's some weird ones here, man. Like, I've heard this one because I have a Filipino sister-in-law, but they call Lolo and Lola.
Yeah.
And then, listen, number 20 on the list, and this is the caption, for grandparents with a sense of humor.
Go on.
Pairing the commonly used term pop with lolly is clever. So lolly and pop. So grandma's lolly. For those hilarious memes.
Like lollipop. I get it.
Grammy and Grampy. I used to call them Grammy and Grampy. Grandma, Grandpa, Gramps, I used to call. But then I had my Portuguese grandfather who you had to call Pie. Everybody called him Pie.
Pie? As in like pizza pie?
It's P-A-I. It's like Portuguese for the father. He didn't want to be called grandfather.
Got it. You don't want to be old?
No, but I made him a birthday card. I made him a birthday card when I was a kid and put P-I-E because when you're a kid, that's the only pie you know. And he was like, what is this? And he was like angry. I'm like, sorry, Grandpa, whatever the fuck your name is. Your Portuguese mama or pawpaw.
I call my grandfather Pa. Like my close grandfather, Pa, and my grandmother, Nanny, Nanny.
Yeah. My father was Pop to my nephew.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, my niece is Pop, yeah.
Yeah, my father's Poppy to them.
My grandma's like, yeah, I'm just grandma. Just go straight up. If I can.
Yeah, my mother too, the grandma.
Grandma, come on. Thank you.
No granny either. Someone tried to call her granny, someone's kicked him in the teeth. I mean, like granny. Psst.
And Justin, my stepson, calls Kerry's mom Amy. But I think as kids they didn't know how to say Grammy so it came out Amy. So it just stuck. They created their own new one. That was just Amy.
My daughter called my mother and her great grandmother Mina and Great Mina.
Mina?
Mina. We don't know where she got it. Like how she came came out with that. But her grandmother was Great Minor. Great Minor. Where's Great Minor? And it stuck until she passed away, 4 years ago. Great Minor.
Wow.
We have no idea.
Love the backstory on that one. Great Minor. Because it's never heard of in the history of...
No, there's none. Because
it doesn't even sound like anything else.
It doesn't sound like anything else. She called her Great Minor. She called my mother she called my mom. Yeah. Minor. And we only can think that is because I don't know. I think she was trying to be taught to. I think the other grandmother, Nicole's mom, she wanted to be special. She didn't want to be. She wanted to be like the grandma one. And I think they were trying to teach them to call my mother something different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of grandma. And it switched to like Minor or whatever happened. And then her great grandmother just went to Great Minor. She always called, like when she got older, she called my mother grandma, but she always called her great grandmother Great Minor.
Minor.
We don't know how it got from her mouth.
Minor porn.
Yeah. No.
No, I'm just saying,
No.
New category.
No.
That's what I'm saying. The thought of grandma porn, you're oh.
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it. It's a little too close to home. Let's go. Let's move it on.
Dude, I got to tell you I don't know if the audio is good for my gig this weekend. I haven't listened to it. I had, because I didn't really go off on someone, but I just made fun of somebody.
Right.
First off, I'll tell you. So it was a Saturday. Told you I had that early fundraiser, right? 6:00.
Right, the one in Pennsylvania.
So it turns out to be an NA convention. Now, I didn't know it was an NA convention because who does comedy shows at 6:00 at NA convention?
Because they want to get it done before the banquet on a Saturday.
No, check this out. They wanted to do it during the banquet. Right?
Oh.
So
get organizational skills on that.
Liz goes, because I thought, all right, they're going to. So Liz goes, do you mind if I go first? First off, I'm like, this is going to be a nightmare. I walk in there, they're fucking eating. There's a buffet. People, it's not like, it's just action.
Right.
And then there's a big empty back of the room where they're going to sit people for the banquet speaker.
Right, yep.
After. So she goes, we'll both do, they want us to do like an hour, so we'll both do a half hour. I'm like, whatever, man. Whenever this starts, just once you pull me up, just light me. I'll get off whenever you want me to get off.
Right.
And they were so rude to Liz, man. I wanted to fucking just tell them to go fuck them. I wanted to grab the mic from her and say, go fuck yourselves. Because first she gets up there and fucking just says she's in recovery and she's in AA, and they booed her. And I'm not saying like a fun boo.
Yeah.
And you're like, are you fucking serious? And then, dude, they were just...
But they're pathetic.
They turned their backs to her.
That's pathetic.
And she was talking to herself like the whole time. They're just eating, and they're like... And I go to the one guy, so she's up there about a half hour. So I just get ready. I'm just like off on the side, ready to I'm going to go bomb. But I'm like,
right.
The only thing is that they're kind of almost done eating by the time she's done. So at least I have an opportunity to get their attention.
Right.
So the guy's like, yeah, she's up there too long. When are you going up there? I'm like, well, she's wrapping up soon. He's like, I go, dude, you shouldn't be having this now. Do you see? He goes, I go, you can't do comedy while people are eating. He goes, no, you can. I go, no, you can't. I've been doing this 13 years. You can't perform while people are eating. I go, I performed at these conventions for 13. My first show was at a convention. I've been performing them every year for 13 years. They're always at 10 o'clock at night after the main speaker.
Right.
They're like, well, this is why we do it. This is how we do it. And I said, well, I heard you guys had bad comedy last year. And he goes, yeah, they sucked. I go, well, this is probably why. Because no one's going to do good here tonight.
Right.
So then he goes, all right, when she gets off, I'm going to open. There was 150 people waiting outside to come in for the main speaker. He goes, when she brings you up, I'm going to let them all in. I go, no, you're fucking not. I go, you're not going to let 150 people come into the room while I'm performing? It's going to be like a cattle run.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, Joe, whatever. I'll hold it off. Whatever. You're the boss. Like, you're doing like that fucking,
Yeah, condescending way.
Condescending. And I'm like, what? So I just go up there. She brings me up. I just go up like, just scream and yell, just really getting their attention. They finally they focus. I'm doing good. I just do the NA stuff, and then I go into my regular act, and then this motherfucker with like a beanie hat on, just like he wants to go talk to the DJ that's to my side, so he keeps going back and forth behind me on stage. I'm like, dude, you have 700 square feet of fucking room here. You have to go on this fucking on the stage, on stage, like behind me, like running back and forth, and I'm just like, I hate you, motherfuckers.
Right? Fucking weird stuff, right? Fucking up. What the fuck is this? I was like, am I doing a massive fucking thing? There's 700 square feet of floor space for us to go, but he's like, I'm gonna fucking go on the stage. I'm gonna get fucking everybody liking me. Part of the show. Ugh. My wife got me, you're getting fatty. Here he is, give him a fist bump. He's special, I get it. He's got his little hat on, he's talking about, he's all like... You painted my house? That was you? Oh, cool. You did a good job. I never got heckled if I painted your house before. That's the weirdest heckle I ever got. Yeah, motherfucker, I painted your house! Alright. I spackled yours, motherfucker. Look at that, huh? Positive heckling. You say I can pay you more, motherfucker? Huh?
I seriously hate them. I mean, I wound up doing good. It was a good, I got an attentive crowd.
And they didn't let those people in?
No, and then when I got off, they opened the door, and dude, it was like a rush of people, and I go to the guy, I go, see, that's why. You took me to perform while this is happening? He goes, I would have gave them 5 minutes to settle in. After I'm up there, I got to sit there for 5 minutes.
It's fucking retarded.
I go, have you ever been around a crowd of 300? When did it take 5 minutes to settle a crowd of 300?
Yeah.
I was so annoyed. It's for having a good set. I was so pissed off.
Right.
Like I had like a great set where like people came up to me and they wanted my card. They were like, "Oh my god, that was amazing!" And I'm like,
right.
I fucking hate everybody. Like, it was so annoying. It's like, who does this 6 o'clock at night? I've never seen that. I've never heard of that convention. You know, some like whatever. But I saw a lot of people I knew. You know, a lot of Jersey fucking circuit speakers and stuff. You know.
Yep.
And you're just like. And she was beside herself. She's like, I just never thought they would treat me like that. I'm like, I've never seen that, where they treat you just because you're an AA that much disrespect. Well,
I'll tell you this, and this is because I'm not you. You didn't know this, but I'm a smart professional. I've run a lot of NA shows. The one thing I tell every single motherfucker who goes on stage, do not say sober, alcoholic, or anything, because the NA people are too mentally retarded to not be able to separate a comedy show from a speaker meeting. They think they're all the same fucking thing.
Right.
So they're not able to say, oh, this is just a person doing comedy. They're not trying to bring a message of fellowship. They're just doing the comedy, and they just happen to mention she goes to another fellowship. Who cares? They can't get it. They can't get it. They're mentally brainwashed to believe that it's wrong.
You know what? But I've used her at conventions we've booked. You know what I mean? And she's done that act, and she said that.
Right.
And they never did that. She's a comedian. You know what I mean? So they don't,
did Connecticut,
but this was this one piece of shit convention, 13 years, and we've had Dustin who recently told the convention on New Year's Eve that he was an AA. We had a lot of performers, John Moses, who said like, and they're like, hey, you know, they don't. It was Mike, you would have been, you know me, I don't really get that mad.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm fucking furious that these people, and the way they turn their backs on her and they're like acting like she's not on stage, like around their tables. I'm like, I wanted to call them all pieces of shit this moment I got up there.
Right.
Because my check, she sent me a check early and it cleared.
It's already cleared.
I wanted to be like, you guys are pieces of shit. You're pieces of shit. You think you have recovery and you have spirituality. You made this poor performer struggle up here. Struggle. You couldn't fucking turn your head for nothing.
Right.
And then I told the guy, I'm like, you motherfucker can't be serving food. I'm like, nobody can compete with cheesecake. No entertainment is as interesting as cheesecake.
Yeah, and it was a buffet style, so it's tough, man.
Up and down. And then this one guy that I know from meetings, he's like, hey, what's up? You're on the show? I'm like, yeah, while she's up there bombing. And he's like, I go, what the fuck are they doing with this dinner thing? He was like involved. He goes, actually, I kind of like it because that way I don't have to miss a meeting at 10 o'clock.
Ugh.
I go, so you're going to put on a shitty show at 6? So somebody else, I miss a meeting at 10 o'clock? Oh,
that's pathetic.
Pathetic, dude.
But I did a show in Connecticut for the Westchester NA, but they did it in Connecticut, and I had Artie Fuqua close it. So it was Gordon Baker Bone, me, and Artie. Mm-hmm. You know, this is like 8 years ago, and Artie sat sober on stage. And it was only about 60 people in the room, and like half of them like booed and like, oh no. And he was like, man, shut the fuck up, man. And he went off like 12 steps is 12 steps, man. If you're on a spiritual journey, does it fucking matter where you get your spiritual journey from?
Exactly.
And like, he went off on them for like about 5 minutes, and they shut up. And then he was like, and this is a fucking comedy show, man. This ain't no meeting. What are you talking about right now? And he went off on them, and then he went back and he got them. He had them for the rest of the show. But they booed him. Like, you're booing? You pathetic. That's so pathetic. That's like if you went to a comedy show, if you're in NA, I want you to understand the difference. Like, a comedy show at a convention is not a fucking meeting. It has nothing to do with the fellowship. It is not meant to spread the word of recovery. It's supposed to be an event, an enjoyment, so people in recovery can have something to do, a part of their weekend convention. That's all it's meant for. But if you went to a regular comedy club in the real world and someone said on stage, I'm Catholic, and the room was full of Jews, and they all went, boo! Would you be offended? Wouldn't you be like, why are you booing, man? Let the guy do his job.
Yeah.
You know what? It happened. A room full of Jews wouldn't. I did a Jewish synagogue event out in Long Island, and I said I was Catholic, and not one person booed me. I even did all Catholic church jokes to them as a joke, and they laughed and were dying, and none of them were like, oh, don't talk about Catholics. You got anything about us Jews? We need to hear about us.
Yeah, man. I was never been so disappointed in the fellowship in my life. Because I didn't even. Sick. It was so weird. The whole night was weird because I pull up. It's in a hotel, so I'm walking up. I don't see any signs of NA convention. I don't see no flat brim hats. I even run into this dude Joe I know from meetings.
I don't see any flat brim hats.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like,
I know. I don't see any
homies, and I just thought it was a fundraiser for because she does a lot of stuff with rehab centers and recovery organizations. Yeah. And I see this dude Joe first, who I went to meetings with, who's very involved with politics with addiction. So I'm like, of course I'd see him here. He's at all types of events.
Right.
And then I walk in, and then I start seeing, the guinea
some of the regulars.
The neck tattoos, the flat brim hats. Then I start seeing the regular speakers. I'm like, this is a convention? And then I see her in the hallway, and I go, we're doing a show at 6 o'clock? Are you sure? Right. She's like, oh, yeah, the woman wants me to start soon. And they had just, I'm like, really? I was just I walk into the room and I'm like, we're going to do a show right here. I was like, oh,
there's always somebody on a committee that are trying to reinvent the wheel. Who I said this to my manager, and he laughs because I talk so brutal about recovering drug addicts, and I'm like, fucking heroin addicts shooting heroin in their ball sack 6 months ago, and now they're entertainment directors. It's like now they know how to do it all. They don't listen to like people who have done it before. Listen, it's your event. Why don't you take some suggestions from people who've done it? At least you've been doing comedy 13 years. You've done it at least 26 times, right? Let's just go 2 a year. Let's just a minimum. You average a minimum 2 recovery functions a year. Mm-hmm. That's 26 times you've done it. To this guy's 1.
Yeah.
And who knows better? The guy who's doing 1.
Of course. And I gotta give it up to her. It was her show. She literally could have closed it. She took this fucking insane bullet.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know if it would have been different if I went up there and said I was in NA and they would have given me more respect, but I even doubt that. These were like fucking dickheads.
Right.
Like just dickheads. Ugh. Just make me sick, man.
That's well. The only positive thing from this is that there was you and it's not my event, but I mean the only positive thing is there was only 2 people. The 2 comics were both in recovery, so you didn't embarrass the fellowship didn't embarrass us in front of like a regular comedian, like bringing a regular because I always sell them up like these are the best groups ever. They're so respectful.
Right. No, totally.
I mean. At least it was like, 2 people in recovery already.
Well, see, what she didn't know, what I would have done, I've had conventions try and tell me weird things they want to do, and I nipped that in the bud months before.
Yeah, you have
I'm like,
to.
no, we're not performing during dinner. We're not performing, like, by the pool. No.
No.
We're not doing a volleyball tournament while the fucking, it's always want to, a couple things. You do a comedy show, volleyball, barbecue, frisbee tournament? What?
Karaoke?
No. Just we need an attentive audience sitting straight looking at us, focused for a minimum an hour.
Right. Like, and if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to have a separate room where your audience is focused for an hour, then you don't want to give them a comedy show. And if you don't want to give them the comedy show, we don't need to be a part of it. We don't need to be a part of it. Yes. Are we turning down money? Yes. But sometimes comedy isn't going to work.
Yeah. Well, that being said, they said it was. I mean, they said I was one of the best comics they ever had there, so got a bunch of cards out to me. We'll get some more gigs in the future.
Nice.
Son of silver line. I did. I mean, though the night was a disaster to start and they aggravated me, I did do well.
Right. But I mean,
and
the
piece
thing
of
is
shit
that you're
that ran on the
judging
stage.
You're judging it all. I've been doing comedy for, 16 years, 15, like 16 on and off, but for 16 years. So I've been a part of a minimum 35 to 40 NA shows, a minimum of 40 shows, right? So you have a high bar to reach, NA, because I've seen amazing shows by amazing people who are so respectful and so full of love.
Yeah.
So when I go in to an NA show, you have a lot to live up to. And if you're a bunch of shitbags, you don't even have to be that bad of a shitbag. You just be a little bit of a shitbag, and it's going to be a contrast to what we've gotten.
Right.
Because most of the time they're amazing audiences. How about think about that? We went to Missouri, and they had 700 people in that room, in that barn, like
twice,
like that, separate.
2 years in a row.
Right.
For the same comedians.
Yes, and they went from a banquet across the hall, across the lot. They walked through a lot, came in, sat down, and shut the fuck up. Did a speaker, got in a circle, then sat back down and watched comedy.
Yeah. What's the piece of shit Jersey attitude, too? This fucking, I don't know, this East Coast fucking...
Because there's a convention every 16 minutes. So they don't care. It's not special.
Yeah.
It isn't. It's just another weekend. It's just another weekend. They do it every single weekend. These guys go to conventions every single weekend. Every Friday, they're checking in. Them and 77 of their friends are checking into a bed.
Yeah, it's like and he's like this motherfucker. Like this one dude's like, "Oh, you're the comedian? No, I'm not going tonight. I've seen you enough." Somebody said to me.
Right.
I barely know the guy. I don't even really know him.
Right.
So I'm like, I just want to be like, you guys see the same circuit speakers for fucking 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, you ask. Oh, he's speaking. Oh, great. On relationships, I've heard him talk on relationships 37 times, but he'll say the same thing from the book. I can't wait.
Yeah. It's like, oh my, yeah. Go fuck yourself. Whatever. You know what? I'm not giving any more energy to it. I just wanted to share the story because it was just such a weird night where it's like, cool, I got a 6 o'clock show. This is great. And then
Did you ever go to the Ben Bailey show?
I stopped by for a little bit, and then I got tired. I didn't want to wait till everything got wrapped up to go to the diner. I just wound up going home.
How did Ben do? Funny, right?
Oh, he was really funny. They had some weird hecklers. I guess that theater, that town's got a lot of hecklers because he had hecklers too.
Oh, okay.
There was just one funny part. He had hecklers in the balcony, and James went up to like say something, but James's head got in front of the spotlight, so a big shadow of James's head looked like he was about to eat Ben Bailey. So I was dying. Just like dun, 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 big James Buckethead, just fucking.
Did Ben Bailey see that?
I don't think so because he was kind of. He was funny though, man. I watched probably about 25 minutes of him.
Okay.
But I watched a lot of him going back and forth with the crowd and
right
and stuff. It was good though. Sold out.
He's funny and a nice guy.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to meet him because when I got there, Chris was on stage probably about 15 minutes already.
Oh, okay.
And then I watched a little bit of his, saw a little bit of Ben's, and I started fading, and I'm like, by the time this theater empties out and they wrap up those cables, I'm not going to want to go to the diner.
No. That would have been, you're looking at probably still an hour and a half.
Yeah.
From that.
Got to do it like when guys like us headline, where shit empties out in like minutes.
Yeah.
These small crowds, it's like, we're out of here. Let's go to the diner. Hey, as soon as these 30 people leave, we're heading to the diner. Right there, buddy. Joe Fernandez headlining all week. Show's over at 10. Joe's in his car 10:02.
And he said goodnight to everybody. See you, Ma. Thanks for coming out, Aunt Betty.
Thanks for coming out, supporting me, failure.
Get home safe. See you tomorrow for pasta.
Yeah. Just go warm up the car for me. During my closing bit. Hey, Ma, go warm up the car for me. After I say goodbye to these 6 people, we're out.
I had a good week. I had a good weekend of hanging out with Sean Donnelly.
Where were you at? Were you at Wisecrackers?
State College.
Oh, State College.
It's Wisecrackers State College, but it's like it's not a comedy club. They have it like they don't have a venue. Mm-hmm. So like when Sean came, I was like, oh, these are like one-nighters. Like this is like just doing a one-nighter. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 nights in a row because it's like not like
different venues or no?
That event, it's almost like a Knights of Columbus. It's a big hall. They do they have banquet. It's like a banquet hall, just a separate banquet hall, Celebration Hall. That's where they do their shows, and Fridays in Celebration Hall, Saturdays in Celebration Hall, but also we had a 7 o'clock fundraiser in a town like 45 minutes away at for a firehouse. Like it was like in a firehouse bar, which was like this dude, when you walked in, it was like 250 looked like bikers, like biker bar kind of people. But they like rough rednecks, beards, leather jackets, and after us was gonna be like a rock band.
Uh-huh.
So you walk into this room and it's a big square room, and like the stairs going to the right up like to another loft, and like so up on the loft stage, if you sat up there on that section, you wouldn't be able to see the stage. There was a big wall in the way. But so they were smart. They set up all the tables to eat and food up on top, and then you come back down to 3 steps, and then they had all the chairs, just like chairs, rows of chairs for people to watch the show.
Mm-hmm. So
they set it up right, but it was like a lot of ruckus going on back there, and the double doors opening up to a bar back into the room. So you had like 250 people sitting in the room, in and out of the bar. It was just a little loud, and the lights they had 2 lights. Those like metal cone lights that you use for construction, like the little metal, looks like the thing you put around the dog's head.
Yeah.
2 metal things like that pointing at our sides of our head, not even like in front of us. So like just right in the sides.
Big shadow in the middle of your face.
Total shadow in the middle of your head. It was. They were okay with material, but they loved crowd work.
Ah, okay.
So, like, you do a little bit and you go in and bust balls. They like that. There's some material that they enjoyed, but for the most part, they couldn't stay on board with all the material. They would fall flat. They wouldn't talk. I mean, they were a little ruckusy, but not bad. But they weren't amazing. So I went up. A kid hosted and then brings me up, and then we left. Sean does his 40 minutes, and then comes to the venue where we already started the show, and then he can come close it.
Oh, okay.
So then we went to Celebration Hall, and they had a fundraiser for, like, I think adult people with autism, like to give them jobs and put them, you know what I mean? Like, so it was like a fundraiser for like older people with mental issues.
Right.
So there was like 210 people for the fundraiser and like 60 people for just comedy. Because they combine it. So it was like almost 300 people in this room. But if you know the difference between a fundraiser and a comedy club. Comedy club audiences and fundraiser audience have two completely different energies. Can you have a great set in front of a comedy in front of a fundraiser club? Absolutely. But it's not the same as a group of people who came out to watch comedy at a comedy club.
Right.
It's a different vibe.
Yeah.
People in the fundraiser audience haven't even been to a comedy club ever. They're not comedy fans. They're old people, some 80-year-old people. You know what I mean? Like,
and they all know each other, and sometimes they don't want to laugh at inappropriate shit in front of other people that they know.
Yeah, it's that. And the energy is just this weird energy of, like, they're not comedy fans. Yes, they're out for the night to support comedy, but they're not out for comedy.
Right.
And if you remember, I would hate those. I would always complain about every venue I went to. I complained about every audience that look like they were going to be a comedy audience. And I haven't stopped kind of doing that for a while because it's just part of the job.
Yeah, exactly. I used to do that too. Yeah. You're just like, whatever.
So I was with Sean, and Sean's about, I think, 10 years into comedy, and he's, a pro. I mean, he does a lot of industry stuff that we haven't done. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But these type of things, he's done, many of them, but they still affect his soul more than they do mine.
Because you're road hard.
Yeah, so he doesn't like the crowds, and I totally got it. So just to hear him talk about it, and we were sitting down eating, and I was like, I totally get it, that this isn't the goal, that we don't want to perform for these places, but this is along the journey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's actually my journey.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I mean, it is part of probably who I'm going to be forever. I mean, I don't think I'm better. I don't think I'm good enough to get past this.
Right.
And he was just like, I don't want these fucking gigs. I'm like, neither do I. Believe me. Neither do I. Because it was a fight. Like, he's like me. Like, he doesn't want to have to do crowd work.
Yeah.
To make them like him. You know what I'm saying? To survive.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it's just like I mean, it's just like I feel like, and I said to him, I'm like, I get it. Like, you want to do the way your material, your act, the things you wanted to try out, to work out, new ideas, and like you have a plan for the way you want your show to go. And if it isn't going like that, it would kill in a regular. He goes like, and I know if that was 300 people of just a comedy club, we would both destroy that room.
Right.
But because it's a mix of people, old people out just to support, you know what I mean? Like, you're just not going to hit them all. It's very impossible to get that whole room enjoying the night.
Right.
It just is. It's very hard.
Yeah.
And we felt it. The first night, Friday night, we really felt it. Like, the energy was just blah. It was like 2 fundraisers for like 2 different baseball teams.
So the comedy club was just kind of putting on fundraisers?
Yeah, like a lot of local places are doing.
Oh, so it was not even so neither night was regular crowds.
Like I said, the Saturday night the second show was 200 fundraiser people and 60 comedy club people.
Yeah, that's why they're doing fundraisers, because 60 people come out. They got to couple it with a fundraiser.
Right, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
I totally get it. But I get the dynamic of the room where you do feel like you're not doing as great as you would if this was just people out for comedy. I
know, and I probably feel it's going on through his head. He's like, I've been on Letterman. I've had a Comedy Central half hour. I've got a Comedy Central CD.
He said it jokingly. There was a guy just looking at me. He's like, man, I got a half hour special, Brad. He looked at the guy. He's like, you understand? This is funny stuff. But he was doing. He would do well. Some things would hit. Some things weren't. I mean, he had overall on Saturday night, he had a good set.
Yeah.
But it wasn't great by any means of what he would want from a weekend. And like he's like coming up there, he didn't realize it's like a state college, a college town. I think we're gonna have college people coming out. It's gonna be a fun, comedy vibe. And it wasn't a comedy vibe.
No, it's blue collar. Is what we do every weekend.
The road room.
You know what I mean?
It's a shitty fundraiser. It wasn't even a road room. Like, because even he was saying, like, when, like in Indy, he was in Indy 2 weeks ago where I'm going this weekend.
Uh-huh.
And he was saying how even out there, like, it's middle of America, and it's not like, but they came out, they go to a comedy club for a comedy show. That was the whole point of the night.
Yeah.
I would say more than 60% of the people for the shows on Saturday night, were just there to support the event, and maybe the other 40% enjoy comedy.
Right.
But they're not comedy fans. None of them are. So yeah, it's a big room full of people who aren't even comedy fans.
That sucks, man.
You know what I mean? It's just that. So it's like that's what we talked about.
So you were opening, he was headlining?
Yeah. That's what we were talking about.
And you're not an easy act to follow on a good night, with a good crowd.
Right.
If you have a hot crowd, you're not the easiest person to make them forget about.
Well, I also, and it's no, I mean, he knows that it's no disrespect to him. I think that was also part of it, because we even discussed it, that me and him kind of had the same type of, like big guy, you know what I mean, joke around guy, sensibility, little animated, move a little bit, you know what I mean? He's not a standstill kind of comic. It's like we're almost the same kind of act type of thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they get a half hour with me, and then they got to get another 45 with him. It's a long night.
It was a poorly produced show. Put the wrong comics together.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah. That does matter. And though people think like, no, anybody should be able to follow anybody. There's a way to put a show together.
Right, and again, he knows he was following me fine, but even he said, we were talking about it in the room, in the hotel room, and he's like, it wasn't ideal for him to follow me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it would have been ideal for me to follow him. Either way, it would have been the same. You know what I'm saying?
Because even, I went through that when I was in City Steam with Mike Fenoya. Now, he's a great headliner. And it wasn't like I did way better. I didn't do it's not that I did better than him, but we're both bald. He's about 3 inches taller than me. Both our wives are nurses. We both do dog jokes. He goes, "Who the fuck put us together?" It's like almost like it's like the same comic just growing 3 inches.
Right.
A half hour later, it was just a weirdly produced show. Like if that's what he said. He goes, "Whoever booked us has no idea what we talk about."
Right. Well, that's so. We basically said that, like, and he also, because I'm not one of those guys, like, why I'm only featuring, because I don't have to tell you why I'm featuring. You know what I mean? Like, he's those headliners. I gotta walk in and tell you why they're hosting for the night.
Right.
Because I had off. They asked me. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. I don't care if you're a host. Your ego hurt? You want to go at the end? I don't care.
Yeah.
So I'm not that guy. So he, I told him why I feature there, and he was like, makes sense. He's like, so at the end of the weekend, he was like, you still shouldn't be You should be headlining this room. This line, the way it went, doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? And I get it, and I totally get it. It's no disrespect to his talent, because the fucking dude is a funny dude. He has some really good jokes.
Yeah.
And really good. He's funny, man. Sean Donnelly's a funny fucking guy.
But there's different types of. I'm telling you, energy matters.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I got a lot of stuff that those people can relate to. I'm talking about kids playing sports. I'm doing a lot of stuff that these people, even if they're not comedy fans, can just relate to my dumb life.
Right.
It's not. And he did well when he talked about being married, having sex with, being heavy, eating. Like, he did well when he talked about his family and stuff like that. He did.
Yeah.
And I think he was like kind of like I am sometimes when I don't want to do my kid material. Yeah, it works. I don't want to do it though. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's doing materials like, yeah, it's working, but I don't want to do that material. I had other material I wanted to work on. So I totally get it. Mm-hmm. But we had a great weekend. We talked a lot. We hung out a lot. We just went out all day Saturday and hung out talking. It was good.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's a good dude. Did you see the thing I posted where we go out Friday night to eat at the restaurant in the hotel, and he's looking on the menu, and he doesn't see chicken fingers. They're not on the menu. So he goes, hey, can I get chicken fingers with fries? The guy's like, yeah, it's not on the menu, but I'll get it for you. He's like, all right, cool, thanks. So then we get the check. And he's looking at the check, and he's like, I don't know what they made a mistake. And he looks, his chicken fingers, it was small, like 2 big chicken breasts, but like a little bit of fries. He's like, it was only $4. So then we read it. It says, children's menu, chicken fingers. They don't have adults. He's like, I really gotta fucking rethink my life, man. I'm ordering food that they don't serve to adults. You know what I'm saying? So then we go to Dunk's, and I go, I'm gonna get a coffee. And he comes in with me. I'm like, you want a coffee? He's like, no, but have a chocolate frosted donut. And I'm like, what are you, my son? Like you just got chicken fingers with small fries, and now you're ordering a chocolate frosted donut. They hand the donut. He opens the bag, and it wasn't sprinkles. He's like, no, can I have the one with sprinkles? I'm like, what? What are you, 8? I put that up on Facebook, and then his wife commented and said he told her the story. And she was like, why did you need the sprinkles? They don't add flavor. And he goes, and he Googled, do sprinkles add flavor as they're talking. She's like, what are you doing?
Do sprinkles add flavor? Did your mouth tell you that? No, they're just fun because they're crunchy.
She's like, why did you have to have the sprinkles? You had the donut already. They don't add flavor. He's like, yeah, they do. And then he Googled it. And then I said, Google responded with, give the phone back to your mom.
So I guess Sean's not doing wisecrackers anymore.
He didn't say that.
No, I'm kidding.
He actually, he was, listen, I said to him, I'm like, I'm not above you. I'm not past you. Just because I've been doing it a little longer doesn't mean anything. But I've been doing these types of rooms a little more and longer than you. And I said, I went through that feeling you're going through right now. Mm. Now, I'm not, what is that word? Just where you settle in. I'm not settling for these rooms and complacent with doing these rooms. It's just where I'm at, and I need to pay the bills. Mm. If I work harder and get better and maybe can work into another circuit to get a little better quality of clubs, then that'll be great. That happens for me. But I have to feed my family. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do these things. But I said this from day one of doing comedy, that if I don't plan for these kind of events to just be what I get, then I got to get out now.
Yeah, because what's the other path? I think about that sometimes too. Because I don't need the money as much as you.
Right.
I do like the money.
Yeah.
And I do it for the money. But it's like, I used to think, should I, not do these no more and try for other things? But I'm like, I think I'm aged out of that.
Right. I don't think that's true, but I'm not thinking that's true. Because I see it. I see it out there. I go to clubs. I see what's in the real club. Yeah, there's a lot of young people, but they don't. I'm sorry. The salt of the earth, the fucking like the real stuff that that you can make shit out of is from the older guys and girls.
Well, I mean, I think about that sometimes. Should I? Well, yeah, that's what sucks about entertainment at all. It's like it's very there's no fucking road maps to take.
No, there's no.
Nor do most people. I mean, friends want to help you, but it's very tough to get people to give you a guide.
Well, there is, because they can't give you a guide because there was no steps they took.
No, there's no. Yeah, right. There's no steps. Yeah, but
if you were like Mike, how'd you get on Last Comic Standing? And I'd be like, oh, you want to know how that started? It happened like 4 years prior to me getting on it.
Right, yeah, it's this organic thing that kind of grew.
Yeah,
I'm not even talking about TV as much. I'm just talking about we seem to be good at what we do in our circle.
Right.
I mean, I'm still shocked that I work pretty much every weekend and I have no booking agent.
Right.
I managed to fill my schedule month to month, and it's I'm so jealous of people that just be like, oh, dates appear? That must be nice. I swear, I'm at the point I don't even care if I have shit gigs. I just want you to fill them. Right. I don't want to have to do the begging anymore. That's what nauseates me. Yes, I'm worthy. Come on, I did good the last time. You got good comment cards. I do good.
Yeah. We are though. But even with the manager, I'm always proving myself, and that's what when a couple of years ago when I stopped
proving yourself on stage. But I have to prove myself in emails. After I've proved myself on stage, I'm like, come on.
I know.
It sucks.
Believe me, I know. But I've always, I've always said that this is part of the journey, and this might be where I land. But if it is all I got, I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to give it my best, but what am I really doing to give it my best? Who knows? That's another argument for another day. But
what's another argument for another day?
Am I doing my best in this business? Am I doing my best?
Well, that's the question I can't answer. What is the best? What do you I don't know what I should be doing.
No, I know, but I know that you're right. There is no definitive map, but I know it's more than watching TV all day and
Yeah.
So that I know. You know what I'm saying? So, I get that I'm not doing enough. Allie Breen posted something. She's like, how I talk about wanting to be, wanting to be more advanced in my career, but how serious can I be if I just got up at 2:00 in the afternoon?
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I'm saying? I get that. So there is a lot more that I could be doing. Whether that pans out to more success doesn't really matter. I know personally I could be doing more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So other than that, I've always said that I got to be happy with this. Might just be all I get out of it.
I tell myself that too.
You know what I'm saying? And I have to be okay with it, because if I'm not okay with it, then why do it? I mean, if your only expectation is fucking the only thing. Listen, would I love success? I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how to have that kind of attitude where the only answer is the fucking number one spot. I don't know. There's people who attack the world like that. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm I want the best, but I'll take shit if I got that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want to be in a position where I've gotten further in my career that I can say no to a lot of gigs. I want to get even further along that I can say no to some gigs and say yes to the greater, better ones.
Yeah.
That's, I don't want to have to do a Firehouse, but they pay my bills, and sometimes I have fun at them.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. It's not the easiest.
A lot of the Firehouses are very good. I just did an Elks Lodge 2 weeks ago, and it was fucking amazing. I mean, it was you're like, I want it to be like this every night, where it's
right.
They were just with you the whole time. You did your act the way you wanted to.
Right.
You're like, yeah.
I think the trick, and I told this to Sean, is to be able to go away to a weekend of clubs. I do clubs as well. You know what I'm saying? And crush at those clubs, and then be able to go to a Knights of Columbus or a fucking Firehouse and crush the whole time too.
Yeah.
It's not easy at the Firehouse. The club is a lot easier.
Yeah.
The club is a lot easier, even if they're not coming to see you, because they're fans of stand-up comedy and they're willing to give it a shot. At the Firehouse, they're not all fans. We were looking out the audience. I would say 10% of the audience on both nights were mixed up of people over 75, 80 years old, just out for the fucking event.
Yeah.
They're not fucking comedy fans.
Right.
You know what I mean? The one old lady laughed at everything I said and everything Sean said, because she was a joyous old lady. The other old people were like they're just there to support their fucking grandson's baseball team.
Yeah.
Friday was just people out, like groups of parents talking. Friday night show, the energy was so like, ugh. It was like not amazing, and they were chatty.
Yeah.
And I did okay. I didn't do great, and it wasn't amazing, but I did okay. I was fine. I got off stage. I was fine. Sean went up, and he did okay. I would say he equally did okay, but it got louder, and he was like talking louder to go over them. They're kind of to speak over them the whole time.
Yeah.
And it just is not what he wanted to do, and not what he does every weekend. That's just not what he does every weekend.
Yeah, I hate that when you're up there and it's not what you want to be doing. You're just like,
yes,
you're just working. It's like a job. You just feel like going, what are we all doing here? Could we just end this now?
Yeah.
What do we got to pretend? Got to put in my 40 hours or my 40 minutes to.
Yeah.
You don't like. Come on. Nobody's having fun right now.
Right.
Let's.
Yeah.
Why don't we stop this and all go off and have fun? How about that? We tried. We gave it a good effort. And I don't like you. You don't like me. Let's call this a failure and fucking go off and get happy again. How about that? All of us. I feel like that meltdown is coming in my life. Where I'm just like,
yeah.
What are we doing here, people? I'm gonna have a fucking Jerry Maguire moment. What are we doing here, people? Little manifesto.
What didn't help the shows, I would say Friday and the first show Saturday, was Wisecrackers uses Penn State has a comedy club.
Who?
Penn State.
Okay, really? Like the college?
Yeah, they have a comedy club. Like a part of the college, one of their groups is a comedy club.
Oh.
So.
Oh, a comedy club, like a club for. I thought you meant
actual
comedy club.
Oh, my bad. I didn't even think about it like that. Yeah,
I'm like, really?
Yeah. No, a comedy club. Like a club.
Yeah.
Like chess club.
Yeah. President of the comedy club. Yeah.
Yeah, same nerds, both clubs. So he had this one kid host, and I mean, he might listen. If he does, you're a nice kid. And we talked. I gave him some pointers. But Friday night show, he went up, did like 6 to 8 minutes, I think is all he had him host.
Uh-huh.
And I can't even do the type. I can't do what he was doing up there. That's how not familiar I am with what he was doing on stage. It had absolutely no semblance of a comedy act that I've ever seen in my entire existence.
Really?
No semblance. It almost was like this kid was like playing, like, I don't even know, like a role-playing game by himself, and he was characters talking, but nothing was fun. I mean, there was no structure to the punchline. No punchline showed up. It was just talking like in a kind of like a monotone voice, almost like, and he has like, he's very soft-spoken, nice kid, but he's very soft-spoken. It's like, and then went like this, and then and he was like, and then I said to him, he come to this thing, and it was a crazy guy doing it, and it was like, I don't even know, and it was, and I was like, I don't know what's happening, and it went from the act. Let's just say the act. Let's just say one of my jokes. And I said, probably, I don't know, probably, you guys ready? Let's keep it going. He was on Last Comer Standing, Mike Gaffney. That's exactly how it went.
Wow.
and no one knew what was happening for 7 minutes that he was talking because you couldn't even tell what he was doing, and then he transitioned. No, hey guys, are we gonna? No clap, no nothing, no nothing. Joe, it was like it's like you coming on stage, doing your act, all like in the same monotone voice, and get to, guys, if your wife marries you, if your wife thinks your breath smells like your ass and she still marries you, you got to keep her, right? Mm-hmm. Next, coming on stage, Mike Gaffney. Like, that's how it happened.
Yeah, he probably does a lot of that safe space comedy clubs. That fucking...
Huh?
He probably does a lot of those safe space comedy clubs where everyone's like, yeah, this is great. Like...
Yeah, well, that's... I mean, the truth is, we talked the next day, and they only have they have a club. They don't really perform anywhere but their club.
Yeah, so they don't know... Because
there's not a lot
in front
going
of
on.
people, probably. Like, real people.
Right. I get it, and I totally understand not being uncomfortable and not knowing how to... But not having... If you've...
The fuck was that?
Yo?
You're back. Yeah, I don't know. Some weird fucking thing happened where your voice went away.
Okay. Now I'm good now?
Yeah, I can hear you, so that's good.
Well, yeah, that's half the battle. So anyway, this young kid, I'm saying is when you go on stage, like your very first time on stage, to I don't know how many times he's done it. So say he's done it 20 times. You have to have watched comedy, right? To understand how you go up and say words and stop saying words. Like you just have to been able to figure that part out by just watching comedy.
Yeah.
There was no semblance to that. That didn't look like that. Then on the second night we drove to our gig, he drove us, and I didn't lace into him to where he should feel like, just keep doing it. And even if you're listening to this, Nick, these are all, I still gave him lessons without telling him how poorly his act was.
Yeah.
Because his act really didn't mean anything to me. It really meant nothing to me. It was the job of being of hosting, which he failed bad at. And I felt like if we're gonna do a show at a firehouse now, you better step that game up.
Right.
Because I had to come out of a hole on Friday, and I didn't want to have to do that again at a firehouse.
Yeah.
So on the ride, I told him how to host. I'm like, you need to separate. Once you do your jokes and whatever happens, whether you get a laugh or you get no laughs, you need to stop, let that 3 seconds pass of where you just said the joke and be like, okay, guys, we're going to get this show moving along. You guys ready for your next comedian? And let them clap, then ask them again. That's not good enough. You guys ready for your next comedian? Let them clap. Now they're focused. They realize you're getting out of there, and you're bringing up the next guy.
Yeah.
And then, so he did it a little better with my instructions. He broke it off a little better, and then I brought up Sean. And then when we got to the second gig on Saturday night, they had a different host from the club, but that kid had chops. He gets out a lot, apparently. He was good, man. He was a good, funny guy, tall, skinny. He looks like the character of a comic.
Right.
He knew how to fucking frame it. He was good.
That's good.
Yeah. But that affects the show big time.
That's the weirdest thing about stand-up is they make the host like this developmental spot and put like the least experienced comedians on when it totally sets the tone for the show.
Right.
Like a guest spot should be a developmental spot.
Right.
And a host should be like a pro host. Or, I mean, not even a pro, but it still could be a newer comic, but a newer comic with some chops.
You got to know how to host. That's why I said to him, I'm like, listen, I'm not going to go over your material. This was like on our ride. I'm like, I'm not going to go over your material. I'm not going to tell you how to write jokes, how to be a comic, but I'm going to tell you how to be a host. And what you did last night was not hosting.
Yeah.
I said you failed at it. And you have to know how to when a club books as a host, you don't need to be an amazing comedian.
No, you just have to get the crowd focused. I think that's what they don't realize.
If you get a great laughs, bonus. Nice job, man. That's fun.
Yeah.
But I need you now to fucking get this group focused and all on the same page and ready for a show. And if you could do that job, we're going to remember that way more than they remember. We're going to remember your jokes did well.
That's why sometimes you see like those set-up punch guys not be good hosts. Like
right.
Person that's like a really like almost like a joke writer for like monologues. That's their whole act. They try and host, and it's like they don't know how to talk to people and even get them into an idea, like reel them into a material. You know, so it's like you know.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, shit, I've seen hosts you don't even see them do material, just fucking talk to the crowd.
Right.
Make fun of whatever's in the room.
Which is, I like to do crowd work a little bit. I like to try to end on material this way when I'm hosting. This way people get what we do here.
Yeah, you eventually get material into material.
But you can like, again, if you don't know how to say, hey, good evening, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming out, man. You guys we have a great show. He didn't do any of that. If you don't do that as a host, and you say your jokes kill, but you do nothing else hosting wise, that didn't help the show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So either way, I said to him, I don't even care if your joke's killed. I'm just trying to teach you how to do the hosting part, and then you'll put your material in there, and if it kills, it kills. If it don't, it don't. But do the hosting part right. Go up there, be a host. Let them know you're a host. If you got to camp it up a little bit, be a little cheeseball, whatever.
Yeah, just get them into it. And give yourself the credit. I think I don't know if it was Ritu I said it to. I said it to a comic recently about give your name after your set. Let people know your set's done.
Right.
Thank you very much. I'm so-and-so. We got a great show coming up ahead.
Right.
You know, because sometimes you see it's like the joke ends and they go, you guys ready? And they're like, what?
Right. Yeah.
Which is worse if that last joke doesn't even hit. If that joke doesn't hit, it's like just boom. And then you're like, ready? Well, we were.
You could say, as soon as you land, you're like, all right, thank you guys. I'm your host. My name is Mike Gaffney. I'm your host all night. Are you guys ready to get this show rocking? Or whatever you want to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, just somewhere where you separate, that was my material. This is me hosting. The show is going further now.
Yes.
But if you don't do that, it's just like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know if he's ever hosted before. He might have, but I don't know if he has. I just don't see that. So I gave him some pointers, and he was a good kid. And so I'm not saying he's not funny. I'm just saying I couldn't hear him talk very low. And whatever he was doing on stage was very
avant-garde.
Yeah, very. It was all his.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was all him.
He's gonna be on TV in 3 years. Fucking next comedic genius to be like, wow.
Maybe I'll email him for a spot when that happens.
Yeah.
Until then, not so much.
Yeah, then he'll be giving you pointers like, hey, dude, when you host, you're a little too much energy. Can you just take it down a bit? Just kinda, why don't you watch what I do? This little weird, the way I talk, nobody hears me. Do a little of that. Get them ready for my show. You'd be like, this motherfucker.
But he also, we kind of got to feel, I mean, I don't know. He didn't feel like a kind of kid that was after college was going to pursue a life of comedy.
Right.
The second host for Saturday, that kid looks like he wants to be a comedian.
Yeah, you could, like, any comedian I felt it was good. Like, I remember, like, when I got into it, I literally just thought I'd be going to an open mic on Wednesday. I never thought, it just kind of it just turned into something. And I've rarely seen anyone set out to be one. Right. Like, a lot of the ones that I'm closest with that are the funniest are just, like, these organically, like, I just did it and it just was who I am and I just keep getting funnier. And
Right.
You know?
No, yeah, absolutely. This kid was talking about, like, Well, like we asked him, like, so what do you like? Do you want to do a comedy? He's like, I don't know where I want to move. Because I might want to move to Chicago because they have sketch and they have, they have improv, they have all kinds of stuff there. I'm like, yeah, I've never had a desire to move somewhere because they have sketch or improv.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, to me, you're not really that interested in stand-up as you are these characters that, I'm not saying he was doing characters on stage, but he was doing, like, conversations about, like, he would do the act-outs of somebody, like, say, some Shakespearean character. He would do the character.
Yeah.
So I think he likes more of that, sketching and improv. That kind of stuff is what he's leaning towards versus actual stand-up.
Yeah.
That's what I got to vibe off of.
Yeah. Well,
but
gotta find your path.
Yeah, go find your path.
Go find your path. So you're in well, this flew by this time. I had so much other things to talk about, but unfortunately I have to like sign off in 5 minutes.
Get out of here, really?
We've been recording for an hour and 12 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I could always pause it and come back after I do my thing, but I don't know how long that thing's going to be, so we'll just have a shorter podcast this week.
All right. Mike's Hot Corner, Joe's Hot Corner.
Well, Joe don't have a Hot Corner. It's just Mike's Hot Corner.
What did you want to talk about?
I forget now. We got so off on
Joe's Lukewarm Corner.
Yeah, we got off on other things, so it just must not have been that important. You know what I mean?
You don't remember what it was? Like what you wanted to talk about?
No, I was probably going to bitch about people on fucking Facebook or fucking did annoy me in life or something, but there's just not enough time to get into it. I have 4 minutes till I literally have to walk out the door.
All right.
So we'll do our plugs, and then I'm sure people will piss me off in the next 7 days, and we'll get right back to it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way it is. Or maybe we'll put out a bonus episode this week. You never know. The sky's the limit, people. You never know. You could have a bonus episode.
Very true. Very true.
You never know. When are you leaving?
Thursday afternoon.
Oh, Thursday afternoon. All right, maybe we'll get a bonus episode out. Who knows? You never know.
Okay.
So you're in. Where are you at this week, other than Indianapolis? You doing any spots?
Oh, Wednesday night. Tomorrow night I'm at. Wednesday night I'm at Greenwich Village, 9:45 show. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Indianapolis Crackers at Broad Ripple. There's a Thursday show is I think 8, and then 7 and 9:30, or 7:30 and 9:30. Friday, 7:30 and 9:30 Saturday.
Mm. And you're flying home Sunday?
Flying home Sunday.
All right, cool. Well, this Saturday, I just have 2 fundraisers. I don't even know if they're open to the public, so I won't. Doing back-to-backs. Doing one, run to the other. So, high anxiety Saturday.
Where at? What towns?
Well, actually, I'm warming up for a fundraiser down in Point Pleasant, and then I got that last minute, and then I'm riding up to Sayreville to headline the Sayreville Boy Scouts fundraiser. It's at the VFW right across from Starland Ballroom.
Okay.
So if you're involved in Sayreville Boy Scouts, come out.
Yeah. If you're allowed to listen to this right now.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a parent of one, not if you're seeking Boy Scouts. Then please don't come to my show. I'm not a big fan of yours and what you do. I'm not. But everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Go to joefernandez.net for my dates. Go to Mike Gaffney Live for his dates. And you've been listening to All in Our Heads.